Hey guys, so today I am actually going to be talking a little bit about American Girl doll, which is a little bit weird, but it is actually, I have to admit, it is a brand that I have really grown to love. So American Girl doll, if you're not super familiar, it is a line of dolls, but it is actually a lot more than that. They have a number of different products, and I'm going to talk about them in a minute. But the reason that I have gone over to the dark side with American Girl dolls, is twofold. One is I have noticed this company take a really pretty serious shift in the last 2 years in terms of inclusivity and diversity. I actually used to be a little bit skeptical and actually vocal about what I perceived to be an issue on their part in terms of not having the most diverse dolls. The dolls of the year for several years in a row were white. And I know that they got a lot of backlash. I know I was not the only person barking about that. And so over the last 2 years, they've really done a good job, of turning the company around. But I've become a fan because I actually think they do an amazing job with their books and their movies. Like, amazing. The movies are, they're age appropriate, so I mean, if you're, your tweens are probably going to find them a little cheesy, but for younger kids, they're age appropriate. They're very sweet. They always feature a girl who kind of has an obstacle and then has to overcome that obstacle. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the new dolls and the ones that I really like. And then I'm going to talk about some of the movies, and then I'm just going to talk in general. Well, you know what? I'll start with talking in general about American Girl. So initially, my girls started asking for these dolls, and I was like, no, they are too expensive. I don't know. I didn't really get it. I just thought that they were like pricey collectible dolls. And I will show you this. This was my girl's first American Girl doll. So if you notice, she's been markered and tattooed. Her hair, that's what her hair looks like. So this was their first American Girl doll that they got from a babysitter when they were like 3 and 4. And my thinking was like, if this is what happens to a $100+ doll, no. So I shifted away from American Girl. I was like, we're not doing this. But then they got a little older, and their behavior with dolls kind of shifted. And I actually ventured back in to American Girl doll when they were, I would say, probably 7 and 9. And so we have since purchased some American Girl dolls, and they keep very good care of them. I mean, we've had talks about, I'm saying very good care, but yes, their hair is a little askew. But we've had a lot of talks about, like, okay, these dolls, these are kind of special dolls. And the thing I kind of realized too is, like, they don't need to have the whole collection. They're pricey. They don't need to have 10 of them. My girls at this point have 2 each, and I think that's all they really need. So we ventured into American Girl with this doll, which is the Truly Me doll. And the Truly Me doll is the one where you go in the store and they pick a doll that looks like them, which is great. And they've got every shade of skin tone, they have every texture of hair, they have freckles, all that kind of stuff, which is great. And it's great because, that is a diverse line. But when we first ventured in, I was kind of like, yeah, but I don't see a lot of diverse dolls. Like, you could buy a custom doll, to reflect diversity, but they didn't have a ton. And then, just after we started getting into it, they released this, this is the Melody doll. So she came out, I believe in 2015, maybe 2016. Her hair's a mess. They do play with these. But Melody is a character that I really like, and she has an incredible movie that came out, and it's on Amazon Prime. It is all about the civil rights movement. So Melody is a young girl who is kind of a heroine in the civil rights movement. The movie is really touching. The story is really great, really empowering. It's actually probably, I would say, for younger kids, ages 7 and younger, probably the best age-appropriate movie for civil rights. So I really, really like the Melody doll a lot. And so at this point, these are the dolls we have. Each of my girls have 2 dolls. Each of them have one of these that look just like them. And then Karis has Melody and India has Celine in terms of American Girl dolls. And that seems to be good. They're not asking for more of them. Again, I'm not going to pretend like these are not spendy dolls. They're pricey. But I think I just needed to get over the hurdle of feeling like, you know, it's not like Strawberry Shortcake where you buy each of the dolls. They don't need all of them. The Cecile doll that I showed has a really good book series with it. And they're, again, I have to say, the books are really well written. They are quite lovely. Her storyline, Marie Grace actually has a storyline around, this is her friend, Cecile and Mary Grace. So they're two best friends. Cecile has a storyline around helping orphans. They're friends, but of different races in a time where that was unusual. So super sweet book line. So I love the Celine and Mary Grace book line. But all of the books, I have to say, are really good. And if you were not interested in buying these dolls, the books are great. And there is another book from American Girl Doll that I absolutely love, and this was unexpected, but they have a book on puberty for girls called The Care and Keeping of You. And again, in terms of age appropriate, it is, I think, one of the best I've seen, and it covers everything from body hair to periods. It's a really, really well done book from American Girl Doll, so who knew? So anyway, here's a few of their new dolls, brand new dolls that really have won me over to American Girl Doll. So first of all, they finally just came out with their first boy doll. So this is Logan. He's got a backstory just like all the other dolls. He is a friend of the new character named Tenny, who's a drummer. I'll show you her in a minute. So anyway, I thought that this was a nice shift for them to have finally a boy doll, because I think that nurture play in boys is super important. I always bought my boys dolls, young dolls, when they were little, because I don't think that's just a girl thing. I think it's actually intuitive and natural for most kids to kind of play with dolls. Now, the one thing I would say, if American Girl ever watched this video, the one thing I wish that they would get on is the Truly Me line that I mentioned, where you can kind of customize a doll to look like your child. I would love to see them add a gender to the Truly Me thing, so that you could order either a boy doll or a girl doll. They've got, like I said, they've got all kinds of braces and faces and hair textures, but it would be really cool to see them add a boy to that line. Along the line with Logan, the other new doll this year is this, in terms of the character dolls, is this Tenny Grant. Now, you know, she's another blonde, but she's a musician, and her story is pretty cool. And she's one of the, I think maybe the only doll that's in present day. Most of their dolls are kind of historical. But the doll that really got me excited about the brand this year was their 2017 Girl of the Year, who is Gabriela. And so her storyline, she is a spoken word poet, which I just love. She's a dancer, just really a bold girl, great story around her. And again, as you can see, she's African American. So I'm really, I have to say, I'm pretty pleased with American Girl Doll right now. In addition to the movie Melody that they released last year, they actually have a new movie coming out on Friday. We got to preview it. And this movie is called Ivy and Julie, and it features a newly immigrated Asian American character. She's the main character, and it is all about her journey of acculturation. So it's her journey of, you know, wanting to kind of dive into American stuff, and she has, you know, kind of a white best friend, but her family is still wanting her to engage in and appreciate her cultural heritage. So it's, again, like, I am impressed. It's a really sweet movie that I think is great for all kids to kind of think through culture and identity. And I mean, what a great thing to be pushing in a demographic, you know, for this company where the demographic is really, it's young girls. they could just slide right over these issues and they could just talk about, you know, friendships or something like that. They have dolls whose storylines involve disability, you know, racial injustice, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I am a fan, I will say, of American Girl. This is how I became a fan, even though I was quite a skeptic. I don't know that we will have more dolls in our future, but I love the movies, I love the books, and will definitely be continuing to buy them. So if you're interested, the movie Ivy and Julie, I believe it comes out Friday, and if you have Amazon Prime, that movie, as well as the Melody movie, this is Melody, her movie, are free if you have Amazon Prime.